Paraffin wax versus soy wax. Which wax is the best for you? If you are also Google searching this question at 3 a.m. in the night, you are not alone. I have been in your place and I know how it feels. So, in today's video, we are going to determine which wax is best for your candle making as well as your candle business journey. What we are going to do is we are going to be deep diving into how a certain wax performs versus the implications it also has on your business. So not only you're looking at your functional benefits and the cons of it, as well as the business impact, which will give you a well-rounded view of which wax you'd want to work with. For those who don't know me, my name is Sonal and I'm the founder of Sosa Candles. Let's begin with today's video. So at first what we are going to do is we're going to start by comparing the wax performance, is particularly how does soy wax perform versus how does paraffin wax perform, and then we'll move on to the business, the business side of things where you start talking about making money and differentiation and so on and so forth. So the first pointer is aesthetics. So when you look at the aesthetics, your paraffin wax will give you opaque candles. They might not look very aesthetically pleasing. They might look opaque and somehow old. In contrast, the soy wax will always give you creamy colored candles, and they give you a very rich kind of a look. And honestly speaking, in this era of Instagram and Pinterest, people love these creamy textures and this beautiful aesthetic candles. So yeah, that's soy for the win. Then let's talk about fragrance retention. Here, both of these waxes are able to hold fragrance very well. Soy wax takes a while to kind of cure. However, paraffin wax is ready in minimum 20 to 24 to 48 hours. So it holds fragrance, both the waxes hold fragrances really, really well. The only challenge here is if you want ready made candles or if you want candles that can be quick to cure, then paraffin is the best buddy. However, if you are okay to spend some extra time but get a good quality candle, then 7 to 10 days is the cure time for your soy wax. Then let's talk about soot. Soot is basically the dark buildup that you see around the walls when you burn candles. So this is not very instant. It happens over a period of time. So since soy wax is generated from since soy wax is obtained from soybean oil, the wax burns a lot cleaner and there is no soot built up in your environment. Since paraffin wax is petroleum based, you'll see a lot of soot built up, and that is something I realized when I was making candles. And this is the first candle that I had sold. Of course, my first candle wasn't soy and it was paraffin because it was cheaper, and I was just able to sell it to a friend of mine, and then the next, I think the next week after that, she called me saying that my walls, they're starting to stain black, and do you know why it's happening? Because I know this is that corner of the place where I burn candles. That's when I realized the soot buildup is real. So yeah, you want to keep that in mind. Next, let's talk about pricing power. With paraffin being relatively cheaper, your average candles would sell for 100 or 150 rupees, because people are not really here for the aesthetics or anything. They're just looking for cheap prices. Whereas with soy waxes, your average price goes from 400 to 650 rupees per candle. So here you have the pricing power. In terms of colors, paraffin wax candles will give you darker colors, but they're still not very aesthetic. They look very, very oldish and they have a very rough texture as well. With soy, you get very creamy pastel colors. So, yeah, that's the aesthetic that you get in terms of colors. Let's talk about room temperature stability. Let's say you've made a batch of 100 soy candles and 100 paraffin wax candles. Over a period of time, what will happen is your paraffin wax will start to shrink more and more, and also the fragrance will start separating, meaning they are not really good for longer period of time. Versus when you make your soy wax candles, they are great for up to 2 years. The fragrances will not separate unless you've made the candle well. So that's like a major difference if you are making candles, and if you're storing them for long term usage, you would have to reconsider if paraffin wax candles would have to be made in larger quantities or not. Let's talk about upfront costs. So, in terms of the costs, you will find paraffin to be relatively cheaper, and your soy wax will be slightly costlier. So, again, if branding your business, if high profits, or if storytelling isn't something that you're looking for and you're just in it for buying and selling, then probably paraffin is great. But if you want to have more control over the margins that you make, and you want to have the eco-friendly candle tag and to have the benefits of selling with ease, then soy wax is great. Now let's actually start comparing them for business as well. So see, for any business to kind of succeed well and to do well in life, to do well, they need to have constant repurchases. Probably the person might buy a candle once or twice because it's cheaper, but over time, once they start educating themselves and they realize that burning paraffin candles is not great for their environment, then they might not repurchase from you again. So with paraffin, I think the power of repurchasing dies the very first time you sell it. However, with soy, knowing that it is a renewable source, knowing that it does not harm your environment, knowing that it does not release any toxins, people are very happy to repurchase it again and again. So here your repurchasing power kind of increases, and your recurring orders kind of continue. Then let's talk about brand positioning. So if you want to just make a budget everyday candle, which does not, which does not have any reference to selling premiumly, or is for the price sensitive shoppers who just want everything cheap, then paraffin is great because then you will have your everyday shoppers needs met. However, if you are looking for candles that are vegan, plant-based, premium, and and can be a part of gift hampers and corporate gifts, then soy wax is great. Next comes your export or your B2B potential. So usually what happens is when you are selling in the EU, or you are selling in any other or you are selling in any other country which has a great compliance system like the EU, they have they have a preference for non-paraffin candles only. So for you to be able to sell candles in the EU, you need to meet this threshold, otherwise, you won't be able to sell your candles. However, if you are just looking to sell in India, which is currently not regulated, and people don't care about the kind of wax that is used, then it doesn't really matter. The next is regulations and labeling. Like I said, just kind of taking this ahead. Um, for you to be able to sell in all the countries in the EU, you need to have an EU eco label which says that 90 percent and more of whatever I am selling, uh, which says my candles are primarily made up of non-paraffin ingredients, whether it is beeswax, soya wax, rapeseed, coconut candles, all of this. So this kind of future proofs you against these laws, because more and more countries are picking up on this and are concerned about only importing these things that are great for their people. So that's about business goals. Now let's just try and summarize this a little quickly so you understand what is good for you and what not. So if your business goal is to make a premium giftable and export grade line, then soya wax is great for you. If you want to stick to fast, high volume, lower sticker price candles, then paraffin wax is great for you. If you want to have a sustainable story and you want high repeat customers rate, then you want to have soy wax candle. Then you want to use soy wax. If you just want to make generic candles, one time purchases, probably pillars that are just bought in bulk, then paraffin wax would be great. So again, it kind of just depends on what your goals are, and then you kind of move towards it. If you just look at it from a common sense perspective, if I have to sell a candle for 200 rupees and I want to make 1 lakh rupees a month, then I need to sell 500 candles to reach my target. But if I choose to not use paraffin and to use soy, and I choose to sell that same candle for 500 rupees, then I only need to sell 200 candles in a month. So it kind of depends on how you are thinking about this, and your long term vision about this as well. It all boils down to how you see yourself growing over a period of time versus your initial investment, because business would always require initial investments, and then it starts multiplying in the returns that it gives you. So ultimately it kind of depends on where your heart is towards, whether you want to kind of just have a high effort, low return sales, or you want to have low effort and high return sales. It all kind of depends on your perspective. So yeah, I just hope this was clear and understandable to you all, and I hope I was able to kind of help you make the right decision. I'm going to link some wax links for you all to kind of look at and start. There's just one fun fact I wanted to share with you all. In 2024, the search behavior kind of shifted. So instead of people looking for paraffin wax candle, people have actually started looking for soy wax candle. The search for soy wax candle has increased by 140% in 1 year, versus paraffin wax candle is into negative 18%. So yeah, I hope this kind of helps you understand that people are also kind of looking for greener alternatives that are kinder to the environment. If you've liked this video so far, give it a like, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.